Everyone, welcome to another YouTube painting process video. This time around I'll be showing you the process for my latest Nami piece from One Piece, as well as going over a topic as usual over the period of the video. This time around, given that I am painting something from One Piece, which has a fairly unique style and approach for anime, I'll go over what I believe that a lot of people are missing when it comes to drawing, and something that I've also had to get over in terms of when I was figuring out my work and trying to see where to go after graduating from college. Needless to say, a lot of stuff like techniques and theory will not translate to what you will actually do, because with art being so variable and so open-ended, colleges are most likely only going to teach you one avenue that you can go about it. And that depends on the school and your program. So for instance, where I went to, I was taught more of the Disney style and that sort of thing. Now there are a lot of things to learn from the fundamentals of that Disney animation style, but you have to find a way to translate whatever skill set that you're taught, the fundamentals, into what you want to do. So the trap that I fell into right out of school is to draw literally. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times when you're taught the structure of working in animation, for instance, you're basically given tasks. And if you're a grunt to the project, then you're most likely just going to take whatever task you're given, the objectives, and you're going to follow the orders however you see fit. And chances are, because it's an animation production, you're going to have to adjust your style and adapt to whatever project you're working with. So you're quite literally drawing what you're told to draw. And it might be something that some people like to do, but I didn't really want to keep up with that, and I'm surely not remotely good at animating either. When you start dealing with something like illustration and finding your own style that will stand out, you have to think beyond the literal definition of what you're drawing. So, for instance, I can tell you that in this video I am drawing Nami from One Piece. So that's the literal description of what I'm looking to draw. Now we can go be more specific, and let's say I'm drawing Nami from One Piece, but it has to be in the original style. Then perhaps I'll have to draw that literally, especially if I'm, of course, working for Oda or something. But because I'm drawing fan art and I'm not really tied towards any obligations, that becomes very open-ended. So when you're only thinking literally, when you're only thinking about the subject matter like this, you're going to trap yourself into a scenario where you don't know what to do. This is what is common with a lot of people with artist block, because they might seem like there's so many different things they could draw that they don't have a way to find that thing that they're inspired to draw. So giving them like a simple descriptor like draw this character from this anime is a little bit too vague, and it doesn't really get people going. So when I say to not draw literally, I mean you have to start thinking a little bit more into the figurative and emotional side of things, especially when you are trying to do and establish your own style. When you look at any professional level art, any style that is established, you're not really too worried about the actual subject matter, because again, anybody can draw Nami from One Piece, anybody can draw robots, anybody can draw aliens, whatever. That's very literal. How you draw them is how you define yourself. And that comes from having more of the emotional side of things. So instead of thinking, I'm drawing this character, think about, I'm drawing this character in an epic way, in a very soothing, calm way, windy world type of thing. You have to start thinking a little bit with more descriptors and stop thinking too one-dimensional, literal sense. Start really tying down what type of emotions do you want to emit for these characters or whatever subject matter you're drawing. You tell 20 different artists to draw the same character and they'll all give you different ideas. And every professional style is more known for their emotional side of things than the actual literal subject matter they're drawing. Again, you can be drawing robots, but you might not be drawing robots the way Ashley Wood is doing. You're not drawing robots like, let's say, Gundam, the franchise, is doing. Every way of drawing the subject matter has a different emotional depiction. So if you are able to start thinking about what emotion, what message do you want to send to your viewers, then whatever character or subject matter you're drawing, you can now start holding down what type of way you want to draw and paint and what aesthetics you want to go for. Do you have to use certain colors in order to create the emotion that you want? Are you using different values, different medium? Again, when you look at any professional style, everything seems to work well together. It's like it's so innate to it that it feels like everything is a combo of so many different micro decisions that create the emotional impact that the artist wants. Every professional artist has emotions that they excel at depicting. In fact, you can probably use very specific adjectives in order to describe their work, not just using nouns. Again, nouns are literal subject matter descriptors like I'm drawing robots, I'm drawing girls, that sort of thing. When you want to go several layers deeper, you have to start thinking, how do I depict those in order to create the emotional impact that I want? And I find if you ever answer that truthfully to yourself, the idea of artist block doesn't really exist anymore, because you can take whatever subject matter that you want and transform it in order to showcase the emotional look that you want to show for the world. Now, this sort of consideration, of course, you would have to get the technical side of the art fundamentals out of the way before you start really digging deep to how you want to mold those skill sets into what you want to do. As I've said before, when you're just looking to copy certain styles, you may capture the aesthetics of it, but you might not understand why the choices are made in order to create a certain emotional impact. Now, I'm not going to answer this myself because I'm not Oda, but let's think about why One Piece looks the way it does. When you look at the official art for One Piece, for instance, let's say it's a study that you want to do, and in fact, I'll encourage anybody who's listening to this to do this for yourself for One Piece or any other style that you enjoy. What are the choices that they make in order to create the effect that they want, the emotional feel that they want? Why did Oda choose to draw these figures the way he did? Given that One Piece has gone on for over 20 years now, you can imagine that he managed to create this universe in this style that spans so much subject matter. So it's not really the literal subjects that you should be worried about. He's taking whatever he wants to showcase to the world, the emotional impact to the world, and transforming all the subject matter that he draws into this aesthetic that he chose to do. And when you can answer that for yourself, then you will have your style. Anyways, thank you for watching. This is the final piece for Nami from One Piece. As usual, if you like this video, please like the video and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.